I'd like to start off by thanking my youngest daughter, Callie, because about a month ago, I went ahead and made one of those Amazon wish lists and posted it in the description and figured, well, see what happens. And apparently nothing happens. But my daughter went on and bought everything that I had on my Amazon wish list and gave it to me as an early Christmas present. She made me open everything up so that, you know, I would see that I got it and take it off of the wish list. But I'd just like to thank her for supporting the channel and the boat and me, I guess. So I went out and bought one of these so I could try to fix that. Because, the duct tape thing just doesn't seem to last. So I guess it's time to fix it right. And then I noticed that all the places where the screws go are all ate out, so I guess I'm gonna have to start by fixing that. So it's probably not the best way to do it, but there's no access to the backside. I wanted to fill it in, and I wanted to do more than just put thickened epoxy in there. So I actually cut little boards, little pieces of wood to put back there to reinforce the back of it, and filled it with thickened epoxy, coated it with thickened epoxy, put them up in there, clamp them down. I mean, at least that way the screws got more than just this thin layer of fiberglass to screw into, and hopefully it won't strip out. And there we go. Just need to kind of clean it up, sand a little bit of this extra off to get it nice and smooth so that the rubber gasket can seal on there. But now I got something solid behind it to actually screw into instead of just screwing into this thin layer of fiberglass and hoping it holds. But sure, shouldn't really be any force on it because it's just power cord, but you never know. And there we go, nice and smooth on the outside surface. It's got this little rubber gasket that goes up there, so it should be able to seal good now. And plenty of room. That hole's quite a bit bigger than it needs to be, I guess, but I'm gonna go ahead and got a little drill bit. I'm gonna pre-drill the holes. That way I'm not splitting the wood when I put the screws in. It's always nice when you spend time digging through your miscellaneous screws, because this thing does not come with screws. And you pick out 4 nice stainless steel screws that don't fit through the hole. I guess I'm going back to my nut and bolt drawer to find something else. Well, getting the wires hooked up and bent around and everything to get this plastic cover on was quite fun. Especially when there's a screw here in the back, so you got to get everything just right and down on there to get the cover down so you can put the screw in the back. But it's on there. So. And I remembered to put the gasket on before I did that, which is the main important thing, because I don't think you can stretch it to get it around if you already hooked the wires up. One good thing about this rubber gasket is it's tight enough around the screws, because I was looking at putting a little bit of butyl tape on the heads of them when I put them in. I don't think I'm going to need to, because of how tight it seals around the screw, and then it's going to compress it up against the fiberglass and make it even tighter on there. So guess that's one thing I don't have to do. And there we go. Looks like we got plenty of gasket being smashed out all the way around. So looks like it should be a good seal on there. Well, that seemed to go in fairly easy, which I guess is how it's supposed to go. Now, over this end. Not easy to do. Yeah, probably. Well, there we go. I was about to say, looks like a two-handed job, but it's time to go look for smoke and fire, I guess. Well, so far, nothing. Guess we're not on fire yet. That's still good. Don't see any flames shooting out of anything in here. Don't smell nothing yet. Yeah, we'll try this. Okay. Well, now just let it go for a bit and... Okay, guess the battery's full. Oh well. See if I find any smoke or fire later on, I guess. And there we go. We got insulation in there. I could probably put a couple more layers, but I don't know if I really need it back in here because it's inside cabinets, you know. If it was out where it was exposed to air more, I'd say sure, insulate as much as you can. And when I put it in, this is one sheet that I folded in half again. And I put it so that the part where it folds over is on top. That way it's not a opening like a giant V to catch water. If any water ever does come in from a leak, it's either going to run on this side or run on the other side. And that way it doesn't hold any water in it. And there we go. If you watch the one where I was working in the V-berth, and it had that sheet of FRP on the side that was just a little bit too small for whoever put it in, cut it too small. Well, I just took that thing out and kind of washed it off and cut it to fit in here. And almost looks like that's how it's supposed to be. Kind of, sort of, in a way. As long as you, like, ignore these screw holes here. Yeah. But it looks a lot better than it used to. And guess what? It's not going to rot out. And there we go. I made some bracing in there to help support the inverter when I put it in there. And of course, it all needs to be painted before I can put the inverter in. Just can't leave it looking like that. And there we go. Now it looks like pretty much white now. Kind of. Well, this time I gooped enough paint on to kind of hide most of the brush marks. And maybe the runs will keep running and run away so nobody can see them. Wait. Hey, look at that. Nobody can see the runs. Well, I'm trying to do the fairing on this to get that patch that I did smoothed out. I don't know. Seems like I'm doing something wrong. I don't know if you can see how it looks like it's melting. Some of it, and some of it's not. And when I put it on, it's really, really thick. And I start spreading it out and smoothing it. And then after a few seconds, it looks like it gets watery and starts almost like it's running. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm doing it on a vertical surface and it'd work better horizontally, but I don't know. Looks like it's going to take quite a few times to get this covered up and smoothed out. Well, who's ready for our next little project? I don't know how many of you actually watched the other video where I was redoing everything to move this screen up here so I could actually get to it to clean it out when it needed done. But the pickup, I don't know if you can see it, way down there is where the float is on the end of the pickup tube for the bilge pump. And when I was redoing it, and I put a new piece of metal and everything, got it down in there. And in the back of my mind, I was always wondering, because it goes like down into a little hole, and I was wondering, what are the chances of that mechanical float getting caught on something? I mean, there's no way to like bolt it down in there. I've got that long piece of aluminum that it's bolted to, but other than just kind of wedging it down in there, that's the only thing to hold it from moving around. And I kind of thought, once the boat gets going, if there's anything in there, it could get pushed against the side and then the float won't come up. And that's not good. So I went out and bought this. It's one of the, I don't know if you'll even be able to see what it says there. There you go. But no moving parts. It's, I can't remember what it's called now. Anyways, there's a sensor here and a sensor here. When the water gets up to the point that it's basically contacting across both sensors, completes a circuit, sends power out to kick the pump in. It says that once it hits 2 inches, the pump will come on and it'll keep going until it's down to 1/2 inch. I'm not sure how that works, because once the water comes down, doesn't it break contact? I don't know. Anyways, it's a magic box. A box? Well, yeah, box. We'll call it a box. It's a box full of magic. So I want to take the other one out, the manual float on the end of it, and take that off and bolt this right in the same place where it was and shove it back down in the hole. And the good news is that like right here is the sump for the forward shower, and it uses that same float that's down there in the hole. So now I got a spare to put in this box if I need it. And then I've got the same shower sump for the aft head too. So now I got a spare. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be recording very much of what I'm doing this time, because maybe if I balance my phone just right. Nope, it won't stay there. Nope. There we go. Now I got to be working right here to do stuff. And the big hole is right there for my phone to fall in. Yeah, there we go. Bring back old times. So yeah, you're going to miss a lot of this, but... Oh, and here's a little tip for those of you out there that might work on your own stuff. Whenever I'm doing something like this hose clamp was on here. I loosened it up, I slid it over to here, and then snugged it back down so that it stays on the hose. That way when I take it apart, it doesn't fall way down there to never be seen again. That's just my little thing to be helpful, because that's the kind of person I am. I really expected to end with the little tag on it to catch on fire, not the other end. And there we go. Bolted onto the end of the pickup tube that comes up, and now I gotta hook back onto the pump. So I'll see you in a few minutes. And there we go, everything's back in and hooked up, and hopefully it's gonna work. Okay, hopefully I need to check and make sure I have power. Okay, so unfortunately you missed it. Checked the relay, had good power to the relay and everything. The relay was working and putting power out. Put a jumper in there to go directly to the motor, and the motor didn't go. I guess from sitting for so long, it was just at a spot where it was kind of not wanting to go. Messed with it a little bit, and then it started going, and then the longer I let it run, the faster it went till it was back to running like normal, and then it shut off because it was out of water. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to replace the motor on that pump. Probably get a new one and put on there, and then take that one and see if I can clean it up and grease the bearings and, you know, brushes and all that stuff, and have a spare. But that's something that'll get done before it goes in the water. Every little bit makes it look a little bit better. Yeah, I just put the shop back outside, ran the hose and stuff in here, and that way it blows all the dust out there instead of in here. And like I said, another 40 or 50 coats of fairing compound, and maybe I'll have it looking decent. Okay, let's see if we get the same results this time. It's definitely thick. And they say make it like peanut butter. Well, that's cake frosting. Maybe not. I don't know, it's not smoothing out very good, but you know, it's a little bit thicker than it needs to be. I can sand it down, no big deal. But at least it doesn't look like it's melting today, and I don't know if you can even see anything on there or not. It's almost like it's too dry, because you got some areas like here where as I spread it, it seems like it starts to peel back off because it's too thick. I don't know. But like I said, any spots that are too high, like this area right through here, I don't care. And that little bit there, that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. It's all going to get sanded. So, better have too much than not enough and have to do it again, right?